Formula One heads to its last European race of 2023. It's the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. So after this race here at Monza, we head off in 2 weeks' time to Singapore on a revised layout. Then it's Japan, followed by a sprint race at Qatar and the Circuit of the Americas, before Mexico, and then a final sprint in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Las Vegas on the 18th of November, and then the season rounds out the 26th of November in Abu Dhabi. Max Verstappen leads the championship on 339 points. Sergio Perez is on 201. Fernando Alonso 168, followed then by Lewis Hamilton, Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc, George Russell, Lando Norris, Lance Stroll, Pierre Gasly rounds out the top 10, and Esteban Ocon on 36 points in 11th. On the second half of the page, Oscar Piastri, same amount of points, Esteban Ocon in 12th, followed then by Alexander Albon. Then it's Hülkenberg and Bottas, Zhou ahead of Tsunoda, then it's Magnussen, and no points currently for Sargent. De Vries is out of F1 for the remainder of the year, Ricciardo is out with injury, and Liam Lawson, 13th on debut, gets another reprieve this weekend here at Monza. In the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull lead the way, 540 points to Mercedes 255. Aston Martin on 215, being caught by Ferrari on 201. McLaren are on 111, but a good podium finish last time out has put Alpine on 73. Williams are now clear of Haas on 15 to 11. Alfa Romeo have 9, and AlphaTauri still on 3. Let's take a look at the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza here at the Royal Park in Italy. It's been on the calendar since 1950, a fan, driver, and just about everyone's favourite, the Temple of Speed. Get a good exit out of the last corner and fire down towards the line. DRS open, 8th gear maximum. It's a long run down to turn 1 at the Rettifilo. Make sure that the car is perfectly balanced before you slam on the brakes at around about 70 metres. Into the right, left Rettifilo. Back on the power from first gear very gingerly as you head down, round the Curve de Grande. A long sweeping right-hander, ever building up the speed into 8th gear. Flat out maximum. Another heavy braking zone into the second chicane, the Dalla Roggia chicane. Braking 100 metres, flip the car left, right, back over the bump. Don't put a wheel on the gravel as you head down. Slightly banked is the right-hander Lesmo 1. It sort of feeds you in 5th gear, rising up towards Lesmo 2. A lot tighter, right-hander as well, downhill section of the track as you cut now with the second DRS zone. Maximum 8th gear, down underneath the old banking section as you head towards the Ascari chicane. Quick flick to the left, down from 8th gear all the way to 5th, carry a lot of speed in, the traction will carry you flat out as you head down after Ascari towards the Parabolica. No DRS in this section as well. If you want to overtake, you have to use your ERS battery deployment. Freak the car in then as well, light up with the brakes down to 5th gear into the Parabolica. Carry up the speed, use as much exit as you're allowed as you hurtle down across the line to complete the lap. It's a short track, but it's a fan favourite. That is a lap of Monza. Hello everybody and welcome to the Italian Grand Prix weekend preview. We're here once again at the Cathedral of Speed, Monza, one of the oldest circuits on the F1 calendar alongside Silverstone, Monaco and Spa. It's the last race of the European season and predictably we come here with more driver silly season news. It was expected to be announced in the next few weeks, but the worst kept secret in the paddock has officially been announced that Lewis Hamilton is staying at Mercedes for 2024 and 2025. The extension running to the end of the current contract of these type of cars ahead of the revamp in 2026. Alongside him will remain George Russell for the next 2 seasons. Mercedes wanting consistency with their drivers and wanting to know that everything will be okay as they continue to redevelop their form, getting back in to title contention. It's going to be a very interesting weekend of Formula One action as well. So much to go forward. Max Verstappen last time out winning the Dutch Grand Prix. 9 races in a row. He stands at the precipice of just being a new record holder. If he wins this weekend, it will be his 10th win in a row. A new record, as I said, in Formula One history, overtaking that of Alberto Ascari in 1952 and 1953. And, of course, the main record, Sebastian Vettel, who won 9 races in a row in 2013. There's a lot to look forward to this weekend as well. There's more rain in the air, which is slightly confusing considering the fact that we haven't had a dry weekend since Baku. Baku was the last dry weekend, so that is over from Miami, over there as well to Monaco, Spain, Canada, Austria, Great Britain, Hungary, Belgium and the Netherlands as well. Constantly having rain-affected races. It is quite an interesting run around. But we're in for, hopefully, an exciting weekend. So let's get straight into the press conference with Tom Clarkson, where we'll hear from all the drivers, including Lewis Hamilton, on his new contract.
Welcome everybody to the drivers' press conference ahead of the FIA Formula One Italian Grand Prix. First batch before you now, as you can see, we have Charles Leclerc closest to me, then Lando Norris, Valtteri Bottas, Nico Hülkenberg and Sergio Perez. Well, Charles, can we start with you? The Scuderia's home race, just how different is this one for you?
Quite different. I mean, we are lucky enough that driving for Ferrari, we've got support everywhere, but obviously when we come to Italy, it's on a different level. So a very busy week, but also a very exciting one, and yeah, I'm sure it motivates the whole team. So we're really looking forward to go out on track and hopefully have a great result this weekend.
New colour scheme, new threads as well. Give us your thoughts on that.
I love it. Especially the Ferrari old-style logo here is what I love most. Also on the cap here, you can see it. So beautiful. I love it.
Look, before we bring it on to performance this weekend, tell us what lessons were learned at Zandvoort by you and the team.
Many, not really in the race, as obviously a part of my front wing went under the floor and broke everything, so I had basically very little grip. But for the rest of the weekend, we tried quite a few things, especially in FP1, trying to put the car in very different places in terms of setup, to see how it will react, and I think we had some confirmation of what we expected. So we've got a lot of work to do now and find the solutions to our problems and of the weakness of the car, but it's yeah, even clearer compared to before, where we are lacking at the moment.
What is the biggest weakness of the car? Is it its unpredictability?
Yes, the unpredictability, especially on tracks where we have a bit more downforce, it becomes really extremely tricky to drive. And we've got big changes of balance throughout the same corner, and as a driver it's very difficult to get into a corner and not really knowing what balance you're going to get. So that's where we need to work on at the moment.
And how hopeful are you for this weekend, Charles? You're on the podium at Spa. Does that give you confidence for this weekend?
Well, let's say it's well, it's not exactly like Spa, but it's these track characteristics are closer to the ones of Spa than Zandvoort and Budapest, so we should be a bit more competitive here. Then whether it will be enough or not to fight for the podium, I don't know, but I really hope so, and we will do everything for it for sure.
All right. Best of luck. Thank you very much. Well, Lando, let's come to you now. Good to see you. There was a nice moment earlier in the week when you gave Max his Hungarian Grand Prix trophy in its entirety. Talk us through it.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's not a lot to say, but yeah, they didn't let me hold it for long, but it was just a nice thing to have done. So yeah, it was good. Some of the organisers were there and the people who brought it all together again. So it was nice to meet some of them and yeah, try to give something back for what I did.
And before we come on to on-track stuff, you've also been playing paddle with Alex, George and Max.
Yeah.
Who was your partner? Who won?
So my first partner was Alex. We dominated. We thought the teams were unfair, so then I had to go with Max because he's the newest member to the paddle group, and we won again. So the common denominator was I won and George lost. But it was a lot of fun. We had a nice little day. We play every now and then. I played with George already last week and a few other times, and it was nice for us all to play. We get quite emotional at times, and I think a lot of people were complaining how loud we were all shouting and how angry we were getting. But it was a good day and a nice way to start the weekend.
Well, look, what about this weekend then? How much confidence do you have in McLaren's low downforce package?
Tough. Not as much as what I would like. I think that's obvious. I think we saw in Spa how much we struggled, even though Spa wasn't where we could have been. You know, if we could redo Spa now, I think we would be in a better position. And since then, we've spent quite a bit of time trying to optimize some of the downforce packages that we have for these kind of circuits. Maybe still not in as confident position as we are in, say, Zandvoort or Budapest and Silverstone and things like that, but we're definitely in a better position than what we were in Spa, and that's definitely given me a bit more hope. But we've had good races here in the past. It's has been one of our best weekends in the past 2 years, so I'm hoping that will repeat again.
Lando, final one from me. Lewis Hamilton has just confirmed that he's going to be at Mercedes for 2 more years at least. Can we get your thoughts on him being on the grid alongside you?
It's great. I mean, it's always been a pleasure to race against him. Even this year, we've had a few more battles, and that's, I think, a cool thing to race against someone who's one of the best drivers ever in Formula One, who's created a lot of history, written a lot of history. I think is, I guess a pleasure for all of us, including myself, someone who I looked up to when I was a little kid, and still get the chance to race against him now. So I'm happy, and we'll continue to do so for a couple more years.
All right, Lando, best of luck this weekend. Thank you. Valtteri, coming to you. Can we just pick up on that point? Lewis Hamilton re-signing, your former teammate. Are you surprised that he's coming back for more?
Actually, not really. He really seems to enjoy racing still. He's still got the fire to try and get back up there again. So, not really surprised.
All right. Well, belated happy birthday to you. Did you have a good day? Get what you wanted?
Yeah, had actually a pretty easy day. Maybe I'm getting old, but yeah, pretty chilled, which was nice after a hectic race on Sunday. So yeah, had a good day. Thank you.
Maybe the new livery this weekend is the team's present to you.
Yeah, it's very Italian design. I think it looks good, and obviously, yeah, it's the final home race together with for Sauber and Alfa Romeo together. So it's a big weekend for us, and that's why I hope we can be also competitive.
As you say, it is the team's home race. It's the closest racetrack that we go to Hinwil. What sort of a welcome do you get from the Tifosi?
Good welcome. It's a lot of passion around here, lots of energy. We have a big support group over here, and actually also from the factory. Some people have the chance to come here this weekend and see the cars in action. So it's not going to be down to lack of support.
And what about performance then? I think you've got some upgrades on the car this weekend. What are you expecting?
We've got some new stuff for front suspension. Otherwise, a slow low downforce package. But as always, difficult to predict. It's super close. It's a fast lap. So I think margins will be small. But yeah, we really need some points now. We haven't scored for a while.
Final one from me. There's some speculation about who your teammate is going to be next year. Would you like to see Joe stay on?
I think he's made great progress from last year. He made a big step in performance, but also confidence and technical knowledge. And I really feel like he deserves a place in Formula One. And he's a nice guy as well, really good guy to work with.
All right, Valtteri, best of luck this weekend. Thank you. Nico, coming to you now. Talking of home races, this is something of a home race for Haas, with many of the team members based in Maranello. Do the Tifosi appreciate that? Do you feel like you're driving for a home team?
A little bit, perhaps, but I feel, the Tifosi, they love Ferrari the most, but they're just very passionate about F1 and, cheer for most teams and most drivers, I feel. Just a lot of love and support, so, yeah, always great to feel that here.
Now, the last time you raced at Monza, you finished 5th. What does it take to be quick around here?
A quick car, be fast in the straight, be good on braking too. Obviously, it's a low downforce package, which has been difficult for us this year. I think, we haven't been too competitive when it's been low downforce. So frankly, expectations are not super high.
Well, look, what about the short and the longer term at Haas? You know what the issues are with the car. How confident are you that you can overcome them in the remaining races this year and perhaps more importantly in 2024?
We've just got to keep working like everyone. Everyone is pushing forward. In Zandvoort, we raced the new front wing for the first time. I think it's definitely a step forward. I think it wasn't really visible or didn't come out because of the circumstances of the race. But some progress made. But I think we need further improvements to stay competitive or to be more competitive within the midfield.
Now, Nico, since you were last in the FIA press conference, you've re-signed with the team. Great news. The team has clearly opted for experience over youth. I wanted to ask you, how much harder are the cars to drive now compared to when you came into Formula One for the first time in 2010?
There is different, but it was challenging and tough back then. But it's the same right now. I feel it's difficult. I don't know. These are quick cars now, and especially the race pace. When we don't have a lot of tire deck, the pace can be very high compared to like 5-6 years ago. But going back at the very beginning of my career, it was similar too. Cars had less downforce, but they were lighter. So. It's comparable. It's always, challenging and tough. We're in Formula One and everyone's pushing.
All right, best of luck this weekend. Thank you, Nico. And Checo, coming to you now. You got that brilliant podium at Monza back in 2012, in only your second season of Formula One. Just tell us, why is it so special racing here at the Temple of Speed?
Yeah, I think this track offers you this opportunity, very fast. They're one of the fastest straight line speeds ever, and then braking into turn one. It's always quite challenging, for example, because of how light your car is. So it's not always a straightforward thing, and especially in the race, I think back then when we used to have a little bit more degradation, the racing was a little bit more unpredictable in that regard. And it's always good racing around here in Monza.
Now, the RB19 is clearly a brilliant car. It's won every race this year. Tell us about the margin you think this weekend that you'll have over the opposition.
Yeah, I think it's very hard to predict. In some races, we felt like we're going to have quite a bit of margin, and then it turns out to be really close. And in some other, we don't really think that we're going to be that far off. So it's quite difficult to predict. And I think this is a very different circuit to anything we've done before, so it will be very interesting.
Given the success you've had here in the past, how much confidence do you have coming into the weekend?
Yeah, a lot. I really want to have a straightforward weekend, and I think with this new tire rule, for qualifying, it's also quite challenging, as we saw in Hungary. So yeah, having a strong qualifying is key around this place, so hopefully we can come away with a great result.
All right, good luck with that. Thank you, Checo. Let's open this to the floor. As ever, name and publication. First one, please.
David Croft, Sky Sports F1. Checo, will stay with you if that's okay. Not often I want to ask you about your teammate, but not often that we have a driver whose teammate's going for 10 race wins in a row. So you can witness firsthand Max's approach, his methods, his style inside the team, and study the data as well. What sets him apart from other drivers, and what has brought him to the precipice of the record outright for the most consecutive race wins?
Well, I think we gotta appreciate what Max is doing, and at the level that he's driving at the moment, it's extreme. I think the ability that he has to perform at his 100% every single weekend, no matter which conditions he's driving at, it's something that, it's quite hard to really see as his teammate. It doesn't really matter what's happened, whether we have good margin or bad margins, or the car is behaving difficult, he's been able to extract 100% out of the car pretty much every weekend.
Look, welcome back, everybody. It's part 2 of our drivers' press conference. And as you can see, closest to me, Yuki Tsunoda. Then we have Oscar Piastri, Esteban Ocon, Lewis Hamilton, and Alex Albon. Very warm welcome to you all. Lewis, please, let's start with you. Many congratulations. You have a new contract in the bag. Your incredible journey in Formula One continues. Just give us your immediate thoughts.
Well, you're all stuck with me for a little bit longer. So, no, I honestly, I'm really, I couldn't be happier to be extending with this team. We've had such an incredible journey together. I mean, Mercedes have supported me since I was 13, so such a long trip, and we still have unfinished business. So we are in this together. We've got a lot of work to do to get ourselves back to the front, but there's no place I would rather be.
Was there ever any doubt in your mind as to whether you wanted to continue?
No, I definitely wanted to continue. I mean, I think in life there's always, when you have up and downs, like last year was a difficult year. I'm pretty sure everyone was questioning whether they wanted to continue, because it's tough at the top, and it's such a tough sport. But that feeling, like that thought quickly goes away, and you put your mind and your energy into being the best you can be and dealing with the situations that you're faced with. And so I'm really proud of what we achieved last year to get through it. And then whilst we started on the wrong foot this year, to have had some really great results. We're second in the Constructors' Championship, and the plan is to keep that and then close the gap to the guy ahead.
And the goal for 2024 and 25 is simple, I imagine.
The goal is simple, yep. Setting the target, it's simple. Achieving that target is not. So, but it's going to take all of us pulling together. I think every team here is, and every driver is working so hard to get on top of the aero package that they have and the team that they have, and pull everyone together. And having everyone firing all cylinders is not easy in a large team. And so that takes consistent work, and same from a driver's perspective, just making sure you're performing every weekend. So I still, even though I've been driving and racing all these years, I still feel like I can improve each weekend. And I think that's what I love about this sport. Is like, you're never going to reach perfection, but the pursuit of perfection is one of the most exciting things about what we do.
Well, look, best of luck with that over the next 2 years. Just bringing it on to this weekend, you have been a thorn in Ferrari's side for so many years here at Monza. What sort of reception do you get from the Tifosi?
It's shifted a lot. I think from the beginning it was, I can't remember if it was here. No, it was somewhere else. I got black cats thrown at me. But I think here was just, I remember there was a period of time where we couldn't wear the team shirt into the circuit. To now just having such a warm welcome from the Italian fans, and finally, the last God knows how many years, just feeling really welcome here, and in a place that I've loved since I was like 13, the first time I started racing in Italy, in Parma and in Jesolo and South Garda, and so it brought me so much happiness. I had so many great memories out here, eating as many pizzas as possible, all the great pasta and best lasagna ever. And gelato. So to finally be embraced within the culture, and especially with this incredible crowd that we get here, obviously a large percent are Ferrari fans, but the passion that the Italian fans have is second to none. So I think we got a cool little following here, and I look forward to seeing them this weekend.
All right, Lewis, best of luck. Thank you very much for that. Alex, coming to you now. Can I take you back 12 months to the moment when your appendix stopped you in your tracks? How do you reflect on that 12 months on?
I was staying in the hotel, same hotel this year, and they put me in the same hotel room. And I was just laying in bed, and I thought to myself, this is exactly what happened. And I woke up I didn't go to bed. I got this pain coming, and I don't know if you know what it's supposed to feel like, but it can feel like you're gassy. So you spend a lot of time like I didn't know what was going on, and yeah, I'm glad you didn't have a mic on, but I honestly felt like I had PTSD. I had to ask to change room. So yeah, it is interesting. Obviously, it was a strange time, a frustrating time actually, because it was the one time where last year I felt the car was quick enough to score points. But you know, Nick did a great job actually, and he did the job for me. So yeah, thinking about it, obviously appendix is out now, so it shouldn't come up again. If it does, there's something wrong. But yeah.
And what about your chances this weekend? You say the car was competitive here 12 months ago. Do you think you'll be even more competitive this time around?
Relative to last year, yes. I do think we've just had a more competitive car at every track we've been to. But let's see. I obviously coming from Zandvoort, especially, I think expectations are quite high from everyone for this weekend. But we have to be realistic. I think Spa was a bit of a wake-up call for us. We were not as quick as we thought we would be on a track that's quite similar to here. So let's not speak too much until FP1, and we can start to figure out where the car's at and our pace.
All right, best of luck to you. Thank you very much, Esteban. Coming to you now. Can we throw it back to last weekend, first of all? Pierre podium, you in the points. How much did the team need that result after everything that had gone on just before the summer break?
Yeah, I think it's obviously, you know, very good for the whole morale of the team, and obviously great to, you know, secure the second podium, you know, for the team this season. You know, with such a tight midfield battle, to have, you know, both of us, you know, on the podium this year, it's pretty cool, and it really shows that, you know, we can take the opportunity when it comes to us, and we should be pleased of that. Obviously, there's a lot of work ahead, and we know, you know, how much we have to improve to be in positions to be, you know, more often on the top 5 and more often on podiums. There's still a lot of work ahead. So yes, everyone is flat out pushing, and the atmosphere is good inside the team.
And were you happy with how the interim management structure was working last weekend?
You know, I'm focused on myself, the job. As I said, an opportunity came. You know, we took it as a team. You know, there are things that obviously we can always improve and get better at, and you know, everyone is focused on doing so. And you know, my side of the job is to drive that car as fast as it can go and as high up as it can go in terms of results. So that's what I'm focused on. All right. Well, what about this weekend? How high up can you get? Yeah, I mean, you know, in Spa we were pretty competitive. You know, on the dry. You know, we had good pace, you know, from quite far on the grid, and, you know, managed to have, you know, decent straight line speed in Sector 1 and Sector 3, and that has helped us to be fast in the race. So, yeah, I hope that we can repeat something similar in this track and, you know, score some points, you know, on Sunday. All right, thank you, Esteban. Best of luck with that. Oscar, coming to you now. What about Monza then? How big a challenge is this place for a rookie? First time you come in a Formula One car.
I would say as a circuit, it's probably not as technical as some others, but I think it has a very different, you know, atmosphere about it from a Saturday to a Sunday. Obviously, you know, getting a slipstream in qualifying is important. I've got nightmares of my F3 days of red flagging qualifying sessions from people trying to get toes. So hopefully it's not that bad, but you know, obviously the slipstream plays a massive part, and also on a Sunday. So yeah, maybe not the most technical of circuits, but an atmosphere I really enjoy, and a track that is very good for overtaking and racing. So looking forward to it.
And do the cars feel very different in low downforce trim?
I'll be able to tell you tomorrow.
Can we also throw it back to Zandvoort? How do you sum that one up? Do you feel it was a big missed opportunity for you guys?
Yeah, I think we could have done a few things a little bit better. I think for myself, I didn't help my weekend with FP2. But yeah, we've reviewed the race, and definitely a few calls that I think, given the opportunity again, we would have done a few different things. But yeah, I mean, to have both of us still in the points at the end of it, considering where we were at one point in the race, I think was still a decent afternoon. Of course, there was always more, and I think some other teams and some other drivers showed that if they made all the right decisions, there was a lot of points to play for. So, yeah, some things to learn definitely from my personal development, and I think also for the team too.
All right, well, look, best of luck this weekend. Thank you, Oscar. And Yuki, coming to you now. I feel it wouldn't be an interview without us talking about your cooking skills. You've been on the stove with Pierre Gasly this week. What did you cook?
Yes, it was nice. Actually, first time went to his apartment, and yeah, we did a cooking session. Actually, he was nice because he prepared like full outfit. I didn't bring by myself. I don't have the outfits, but yeah, like we did a bit of filming as well. And I think went well. I think he didn't use much his own kitchen, his house. So some of the places he didn't know where it is, but even his house. But yeah, I think it was nice. I think I wanted to go to his house at some point. He came to mine this year in the beginning of the season. And finally I went able to went to his house. So it was nice cooking.
Good. And what about this being the home race for the team? Even more poignant after the cancellation of the Imola Grand Prix earlier in the year.
Yeah, especially after Imola Grand Prix got cancelled. You know, definitely, especially all the Italian fans and our team were really disappointed. But at the same time, we know the reason. And I think it's the first time this year Italian Grand Prix here. I can see all people, all mechanics, all colleagues in AlphaTauri are really motivated. Also including me, of course. And yeah, I hope I can have a good result here to kind of motivate give extra energy to the people who works in the fans as well.
Look, final one from me. You've had lots of different teammates. You've had Nick, you've had Daniel. You've now got Liam Lawson as your teammate. How difficult is it for you to stay focused on yourself when there's so much change going on in the next door garage?
Yeah, it's okay. I think in the end, I just have to focus what I have to do, and the things I have to do is same as usual. You know, score points. Have a good results, and obviously it's I would say more towards team doesn't help probably much. It's not easy. It's like changing to another driver in 1 week. You know, it's very difficult. But I think team doing a good job, and also all the drivers doing a good job so far as well. Same for Daniel as well. Daniel has to get used to it more, and he had a good session. And then right after he got a unfortunate incident, and he just jumped into the FP3, and yeah, he did well in the qualifying race. So yeah, I think we all working well. And yeah, it's not that easy, but for myself, not much difference.
Yuki, thank you. Thanks to all of you. Let's open this to the floor. Please remember to give your name and publication. First one.
David Croft, Sky Sports. F1 question to Lewis. Congratulations on the new contract. I think we're all quite happy to put up with you for another 2 years, to be honest. Unfinished business, you say. What's the unfinished business, and what have the team said to you that's convinced you that that's achievable in 24 and 25?
Well, we're trying to win more world championships, and so, and I think, the unfinished business is getting us back to the top. It's getting back and fighting for world championships, and we've been the most successful team in history, and the most successful run in the past 10 years or whatever. So. But it's been a challenge this past year, so I think it's just getting us back to where we belong and where we operate in all those cylinders which you're seeing Red Bull do.
Thank you, Lewis.
I didn't see I can't remember what the last part was.
What have they said to convince you that that's achievable? What have you seen?
It's what you see. It's not necessarily what someone says. It's the work that you're doing. It's the meetings we've been having with all the engineers, with James. Alison and the whole group back at the factory, just that are focused on the heads of all the departments coming together and talking and just really engaging better than ever before about where we are, the mistakes we've made, why we made those decisions and why we won't make them again, and where we're going, and just all having that confidence in each other that we are the best at what we do, and when we come together and when we, given time, we will get to where we need to be.
It's a busy weekend for us here as well on JB Motorsports. We'll be back with F2 and F3 practice, followed then by FP1 tomorrow as well. This weekend, we also have MotoGP coverage live for you as well. It's going to be very chaotic in the commentary box as well. I'll be solo for MotoGP. Megan will be hosting a lot more of the support series and the pre-race show as well. On Sunday, I'll be here for the commentaries in the race as well. We've also got the link-up between Grid Network as well for the Grand Prix of Portland, and delighted to say we'll also be on USON. So the three main networks are all coming together. I'll be leading the commentary as well. Grid personnel will be joining in the team. It's going to be a very exciting weekend here on JB Motorsports and the Grid Network and USON. I just want to thank everybody as well for getting us over 2,000 subscribers. It took us 4 years to get to 1,000. In 4 months, we've got to 2,000. So thank you all very much, and I hope you're all enjoying the coverage. We'll be back tomorrow for all the action from MotoGP, F2, F3, Porsche Super Cup, IndyCar, and F1. It's going to be a busy weekend, so strap yourself in as we enter September. Bye-bye.